Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kid Show, and today we have to talk about Final Fantasy 16 because it's been a little while since Final Fantasy 16 released on PC, and funny enough, PlayStation console gremlins are talking about the sales performance of Final Fantasy 16 on PC, so we're gonna have to talk about it because apparently PlayStation console gremlins are more interested in PC sales than PC gamers are. So without further ado, let's go over the Final Fantasy 16 sales because apparently they extremely underperformed on PC, so selling only 290k units since launch, and this came out just a few short days ago. Square Enix has moved to multi-platform releases. And story highlights is Final Fantasy 16 didn't launch to massive numbers on Steam. A new report revealed that the game has sold only 289k copies on Steam since its launch. Square Enix is now shifting its focus to releasing games on different platforms to attract more sales. Which, imagine if this was so. Final Fantasy 7 Remake launched exclusively on Epic Game Store like a year after the PlayStation release, and it was exclusive to the Epic Game Store for like a year. Imagine if this game was like an Epic Game Store exclusive. after a year of PlayStation exclusivity, they would have made no money. Would have been absolutely hilarious, mind you. Would have At this point, I would have loved to have seen that because Square Enix has fucked around with exclusives for far too long, and they needed to have a fire lit under their ass. But this has led this kind of reception has led to Square Enix essentially changing how they release their video games. Now everything is multi-platform, hopefully day and date from now on, as it should have been in the first place. But this kind of stuff is unacceptable for PC gamers. Clearly, as you could see, judging by the sales. They said Square Enix launched Final Fantasy 16 exclusivity on the PlayStation 5 in mid-2023. The sales were pretty good given it launched on a single console, but Square Enix always has high expectations for its franchise. From what I recall, apparently the game sold like 3 million units on PlayStation. And so the gaming giant finally released the game on PC in September to attract more players. However, the game has seems to have severely underperformed on the platform and has only sold 290k units since launch. This why it matters. Square Enix launched Final Fantasy 16 on PC after over a year, killing the game's hype and ultimately hurting the sales, and that is the entire point of the situation. All right. The reality is, I've played Final Fantasy 16 on PlayStation, and first and foremost, the game is garbage. All right, the game, what a fucking disappointment. That was my most anticipated game of that year, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was, at best, with genuine kindness, I say that at most, the game was mid. And is at its very peak, the most you could say is that the game was mid. And really, after the hype and all that, and the reception, do you really expect PC gamers to buy, at best, a mid-ass video game? And then on top of it, too, when it launched on PC, the performance was ass. And mind you, the performance... So here's the thing about Final Fantasy 16. The performance of Final Fantasy 16 is ass everywhere across the board. I played this on the PS5. Game ran like dog shit. Looked like dog shit. Ugly. Ugh. It looked like a PS3 game. Fucking god-awful, unacceptable performance. It was such a turnoff. I think that is really one of the biggest factors on why one of many huge factors on why I couldn't really enjoy the game. Performance was garbage on PS5, and really the performance was garbage on PC as well. Shout out to Oh No, It's Alex, who did a PC report review on the game and really showed us how the game plays, which, shockingly, not well. Square Enix, they have no idea how to optimize their video games. They clearly need help when it comes to their big AAA blockbuster titles. So that is a huge deciding factor as well, but let's continue. So just to bring you guys to the Steam DB page, just to give you guys an idea of how this game did overall in terms of general play time. Right now, there's less than 2,000 players playing this game. 24-hour peak was 3,000, just barely. And the all-time peak was 2 months ago, near the launch, at 27,000 players concurrent at that period of time. Now, what was potentially the reasoning for this, well, really, this lack of player engagement? Well, it didn't help that Sony decided to launch God of War Ragnarok pretty much at the same time as Final Fantasy 16. That wouldn't have anything to do with the sales, right? Those both launched on Steam around the same exact time. And really, generally speaking, it was just a very hectic set of releases during that time period a couple months ago. So really, I'm not surprised that, well, not only was the hype not there for this game, because everyone knew that the game was mid as fuck by then, and everyone knew that the port of it was garbage, just like the PS5 release. So, yeah, what this leads us all to believe and know, consistently, unless you're a PlayStation console gremlin living in denial, PC gamers are not stupid. Okay, let's just put it. Let's just get it out there. Let's just be honest. PC gamers aren't stupid. All right, they're not going to throw money at bullshit, especially when they know everything there is to know about the game. They know the game is mid. They know the game didn't play well. They really stop being stupid. You know, Square Enix, just respect PC gamers, man. Respect PC gamers. First off, the game right now, and upon launch, was $50. It's still $50. All right. Who wants to pay $50 for a game that has no more hype behind it? All right. Was already out for a year and really, just isn't very good. Not good port performance, not a good video game. Nobody wants to pay $50 for a mid-ass game across the board. But I guess we can get into a little more discussion because we have my boy PorterRock77, PlayStation console gremlin, who apparently has some judgment for PC gamers for not buying the game. So let's go see what he thinks about the whole situation because, well, I find it interesting that he's very interested in PC gamers and what they choose and choose not to buy. So without further ado, let's go see what PorterRock77 has to say about the situation. Alright guys, so this is from the video Final Fantasy 16 flops on PC, PS5 Pro, off to a good start. So he has the same article that I had brought up to have a discussion on, and let's see what he has to say.
We'll start with excuse number one. Oh, it wasn't day and date on PC, to which I agree. I agree with the logic of if you really want to play a game, you're not going to wait. Okay, if you're willing to wait for a game, then you really don't care. You're like, I'll check it out whenever it appears. It's not that big of a deal. That's always been my logic. But PC gamers, that's not have been your logic. You all mostly say you will wait for games.
And this is what PC gamers are doing right now by not even buying the game. PC gamers are so good at waiting for games that even after the release, they'll still wait even more until the price goes down even more. Because, you know, who wants to pay $50 for a mid-ass game, a mid-ass performing game, a mid-ass playing game, a mid-ass experience overall from a story perspective, from a gameplay perspective to a performance perspective? Yeah, who wants to pay $50 for that? PC gamers aren't suckers. You're not going to get one over on us. It's really that simple. You know, especially after watching PlayStation console gremlins play this game and have a very mixed reception on this. I played it myself. The game is extremely mediocre. And there's a lot of people, admittedly, there's a lot of people that do love the game, but then there's also a huge amount of people that were severely disappointed by this game. All of my personal friends do not like this game, and they were extremely excited for it, and led to being severely disappointed upon playing at launch. And there's other people in the community that I personally just talked to about the game that also do not like the game at all. It's just not a good video game. Sad to say. From the boss fights ending up being a lot of QTE nonsense to a lot of MMO styled questing, which really is so god awfully boring to the visuals being downright ugly in some instances. Apparently on PC, locked at 30 FPS cutscenes, disgusting, disgraceful behavior, and another one that's a pet peeve of mine, no ultra wide support. So yeah, thanks a lot, Square Enix. They're really doing their best, clearly, to try and sell this game at the $50 price point over a year after launch, don't you think? So yes, we wait so well on PC that we wait for the game to be fucking peanuts. Because really, at the end of the day, after this game being out for over a year, we could all tell that the game is at best worth peanuts. But continue, Puerto Rock.
That is why you tell people, oh, don't buy a PS5 or a PS5 Pro. Get a PC. It's much better. But
No. You're confused with PC gamers that they themselves are confused. No, please, if you are a console gremlin, buy your PS5 Pro, your PS5, whatever. Stay the fuck over there, okay? You're right. PC is not a good replacement for console. You actually have to know what the fuck you're doing on PC. So please stay on your console. We do not want to dumb down PC to please you console gremlins that have these hopes and dreams of converting over. No, PC's not for you. Stay on your garbage ass console.
But then when we tell you guys, we don't want to wait for games. We want to play Wolverine day one. We want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 day one. All the Sony first party titles that we enjoy, we want to play those games day one. And whatever deal Sony makes, if the game's interesting, we want to play those games day one. You all go back and say, oh, you could wait for games, focus on your backlog, you could do all this, you're just being a fanboy.
Don't do any of that. Don't do any of that. Don't do any of that. And by the way, too, yeah, we want the choice of pickings of day one games as well, because we want all of the games, because we have Xbox's games, we have Nintendo's games, and we have PlayStation's games. The only thing is, well, Nintendo's games, it's a little illegal means from what I hear, from what I've gauged, from what I have not personally indulged in. And then on top of it, PlayStation is a little late to the party. They're really bad at having ports come out on time, and this is something that they should work on, because they should actually try to maximize their profits. If you release games late, yeah, the lack of interest is dwanes as time goes on, especially with games like Marvel Spider-Man 2 that's mid as fuck, like Final Fantasy 16 that's also mid as fuck, like God of War Ragnarok that's also mid as fuck. Like, if you're going to release a mid as fuck game, like maybe perhaps you should release it day and date so you can maximize sales before the PlayStation console gremlins play it and they realize, oh man, this game kind of mid, this game not as good as first game. One of those situations. If you want to sucker more people into buying these games, yeah, you should release it day and date so that everyone has the opportunity to get it day one. So you as a company could try and sucker, as many people as possible into buying your game, even though you're not going to get one over on PC gamers, mind you, at least the ones that pay attention. But still, you would get more sales than you would have admittedly have gotten, upon the way you continue to do things. But I digress.
Whatever. But now, with Final Fantasy 16, you guys say, oh, it wasn't there day one.
Nope.
Now, day
and expose that it's shit. So nobody wants it anymore.
one matters. Now, day one is important.
Well, day one is important for the companies themselves. Square Enix has admitted that day one matters. So, what are we getting at here? This is why Square Enix is now day and date across the board. So, yeah, day one does matter for potential sales if you want to reach a peak.
Now, the whole wait thing now doesn't apply no more. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, oh, it's not day one, so I waited this long. I'll just wait for a sale of 80% and stuff like that. And that's literally the disconnect. You guys pick and choose that logic. That's what we're trying to tell you.
No, we wait forever. We can wait forever. We could wait consider this a permanent wait for Final Fantasy 16 because that game is ass.
Right? If you really want to play a game, you're going to play the game. If you really don't want to play the game, then you're not going to play it. You'll play it later on the line. Maybe it's $10, maybe it's free or giveaway, whatever, right? And that's what we've been trying to tell you, all right, from the console side, right? So when you guys say, oh, PC is a great replacement for PlayStation, it's not. It's not. Unless you consider things really, most of you guys' argument is stuff that's not even PlayStation specific. It's console specific. Like, oh, we got free online. Well, that's logic of PC versus consoles in general, because online is, a subscription. You have to pay for online on Xbox. You have to pay for online on Nintendo Switch. You have to pay for online on PlayStation. So that's really just PC gaming versus console gaming in general. But PC versus PlayStation gaming specifically, the heart of that conversation is going to come down to the games.
You still have to pay for online across any console. That includes PlayStation. That's a direct hit towards console gaming as a whole. What are we talking about here? We're off topic, but that's a massive fucking cope. Look, just ignore that PlayStation, PlayStation has a subscription that paywalls online gaming. Just ignore that, because it's all about the games at PlayStation. Huh? Huh? Please stay on your console. Please. All of you. Please stay on the console.
And PlayStation has not committed to PC with day one games. They haven't. If anything, they'll actually put games and have games come first, to PlayStation, and then later on PC, even if it's third party. For example, Stellar Blade and Rise of Ronin. And who knows how many more of those type of games that PlayStation willing to say, hey, just make it for PlayStation, and then later on, we'll release it to PC.
This example shows how that logic does not work. If you want to maximize sales, then you will release across the board during the hype period. I mean, that's literally what this situation is telling us, bro. I mean, you could have this massive co on PlayStation will never go a day and date. I mean, if they don't want maximized profit, then you're correct. But other than that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they release day and date, because console gremlins like you and other console gamers through and through will not go to PC. You guys are, too mentally handicapped to make that leap. We understand. Please stay on your console. If we on PC get day and date, it makes no difference to you, because you're playing your game anyway. You could run through all the nonsense. You could try and justify the exclusivity, but that shit is over with. That shit don't work when it comes to Sony's bottom line. This is a perfect example showcasing that if you do not release day and date, well, you will suffer far less sales than if you would have went day and date to begin with. But hey, man, we can cope. We can do whatever, I guess. Let's continue.
Death Stranding is another one, right? Stuff like that. Actual people who enjoy PlayStation don't want to go through that. They don't want to go buy a PC, and then now they just sit and wait as these PlayStation games come out. Wait a year, 2 years, or whatever. Not really think. But anyway, clearly, $289K. Complete flop. Now, other excuses, other reasons, right? Oh, it's not quality, has issues, PC ports and stuff like that. Absolutely. I even said on this channel multiple times that I'm very disappointed in Square Enix on how they're handling, from a technical competency, how they're handling their games. They haven't been the very best, or even at the top, among the top of the technical competency when they're creating these games. They have issues on PlayStation, and it doesn't even matter what engine, because Final Fantasy Rebirth, clearly, if you saw how it launched and stuff like that, is on Unreal Engine. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening with Square Enix. I hope they figure it out, right?
Yeah, because when it comes to PC gamers, PC gamers don't like to cave on garbage performing video games. This has been showcased. It's a game running poorly on PC correlates with sales, because guess what? You could buy the game on Steam. You could try it out for 2 hours, and if the game ain't running acceptably, you could just simply return it. On PlayStation, you sadly don't have this option, because PlayStation fucks you in the ass when you buy their games on their platform. It's over once you buy and you download. Good luck trying to return that game. So yeah, you're not going to get one over nearly as easily on PC gamers as you can PlayStation gamers. Now, with Final Fantasy 16, for example, if you watch Oh No, It's Alex's PC port review, the very beginning cutscene of the game shows that the game is a mess performance-wise, and with the 16, this is no, this is no smooth experience or visually appealing experience on PS5 either. Across the board, it's just a bad performing game. So yes, this isn't an excuse. Performance matters to PC gamers. It's not console gamers that are just, oh well, it runs at 30 FPS. That's fine. Like, no, we're not going to accept that. Square Enix definitely needs to up their game when it comes to optimization across the board, and to call it an excuse is rather silly.
So I could get that point, right? But overall, releasing on PC didn't do nothing. 289K is nothing. It's a nothing burger. Did not resolve Final Fantasy 16's issues at all. Nothing at all, right? Let me see. Okay. When you compare this, right? Final Fantasy 16 has sold 3 million in the first week. 3 million copies in the first week on one platform. And they themselves says that they expected more. You have a problem with the company. Square Enix has an issue within themselves, and simply the decision of saying, hey, we're going to go multiplat, that's not going to fix it. Square Enix was multiplat before. Final Fantasy 13 was day one on the Xbox 360. I don't know if you guys remember that. The way I see content creators talk, I swear to God, it seems like you guys started gaming on the Xbox One. And even if you did start on the Xbox One, Final Fantasy 15 was day one on the Xbox One. So that was a multiplat. So I really don't understand what you guys are doing, what conversations you're having. To me, 80% of your content is not so much talking about gaming and breaking it down, which is why Xbox community is in a complete whirlwind. They're just...
When did we go to Xbox gaming? I'm so confused. We're talking about PC sales. What are we doing? I'm so confused. This video is just all over the place. No, holy shit. I'm lost. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, Square Enix has chosen to release day and date across the board. So there will be 3 platforms in which they will be able to make money off of. If your whole goal with this example of how this game sold on PC a year later from the official, like the first release of this game on PlayStation 5, in regards to trying to discredit putting games on Xbox, that's a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, yeah, I don't think that necessarily Xbox gamers are going to run out and buy games because they're so Game Pass dependent. But the fact that this game did not sell well is really all you can chalk it up to is Square Enix's shortcomings, Square Enix's failures. That's all that's been shown here. Them not releasing day and date on PC, them not having a good running video game day one. All of this stuff affects sales, especially on PC. You can't just sucker gamers into just buying because they can simply just return. There's that option. So you could try and fuck over PC gamers all you want to, and a lot of these companies certainly do. But it was too easy to figure out that Final Fantasy 16 don't run well.
Cooked right now. A lot of them don't understand what's going on. They're mad at the ads, whatever. And it's because you guys don't have real conversations, or I don't know what you guys are doing. Right? But nobody in the Xbox community should be mad. But that's a different conversation, right?
Word.
As far as this conversation, the conversation I should really have is what is Square Enix specifically doing? If you sell 3 million copies in 1 week and all you've been doing is developing on that one platform, that should be successful. The only people legitimately that I can
The only thing successful really in this whole situation is Square Enix's marketing. The fact that they fooled me and so many other people into buying this game day one. I mean, well, technically week one, to where it sold 3 million copies week one. Yeah, the only thing that works effectively with Square Enix is, in fact, their marketing. Everything else is fucking god awful. And dudes, I fear for Dragon Quest 12, man. I really do. I am so scared for that game. The censorship, let alone the actual performance, let alone just Square Enix's judgment. It's so fucking messy and god awful.
But Final Fantasy 16, this can't be like a 300, 400 million built game. It's not. And if it is, it isn't because what's in it shows it, right? The game doesn't show 300 million budget, right? Something's very wrong from the technical competency to their operations to how they make games in Square Enix. And I have a feeling they are spending more and getting less out of their production, right?
Well, that's a AAA issue across the board. I mean, Dragon Age the Veilguard has been in development for what, like a decade? That game looks like a AA game at best. Spider-Man 2, they spent like what, $300 million on the project, and it's not that much of a step above Marvel Spider-Man 1 in terms of the gameplay. The visuals are nice, but they don't look like insanely better than the original, unless you fucking zoom in like 1,000% and look at screenshots. Final Fantasy 16 looks and plays fucking terribly. This is a AAA issue across the board, and it's disappointing. Most of these games are not at all impressive. Not at all impressive. And Square Enix isn't the only ones absolutely 100% guilty of that.
Right? So the amount of money that they're spending isn't commensurate to what they're pushing out in terms of that. Something's operationally, something's very wrong in Square Enix, and multiplat day one is not going to resolve that. Take case in point, I'll show you another one, right? This game is day one multiplat. Here we go. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 was day one on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. Not exclusive, right? And they were only able to sell 1.3 million copies by February 2024. And what that means is the game release, I think it was October. Let me look. Yeah, October 27th. So from October 27 in 23, right, to February 24th, they sold 1.3 million copies across PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. And they have not met the budget up until that point. So that is a problem, right?
What Porter Rock probably doesn't know about this situation with Alan Wake 2. The reality is that it was an Epic Game Store exclusive, and that means it hindered the sales of this game astronomically. If you do not put the game on Steam, if you choose to withhold it to put on Epic Game Store for the little bag, the crumbs that you're looking for from Sweeney and whatnot, well, yeah, you're gonna get burnt. You're not gonna sell enough games. Like that's the sad reality of that situation. Put the game on Steam, where the mass majority of PC gamers that buy brand new games are on. You fucking idiots. Otherwise, yeah, risk not making money.
Notice, multiplat did not resolve this situation. Now, I'm not saying the game would have sold better if it was exclusive, right? But clearly, 1.3 million on the PS5 and the Xbox Series console and the 100 million active Steam users.
It's not on Steam, bro. It's literally not on Steam.
1.3 million. So clearly, one, the game's not generally wanted across the board. Two, what they spent, they didn't make it back after what? 3 months? November, December, January, February, 4 months. 4 months out on the market, right? But the thing is, nobody really chastises it, right? Nobody says nothing. No one really talks about Alan Wake 2, right? Because it's multiplat, right? But then we'll put this up. When it comes to a PlayStation exclusive, Astrobot, they say this is a failure. Astrobot, 1.5 million in 2 months. Even though Sony says it was successful, and I guarantee Astrobot does not have the budget of Alan Wake 2, especially being a more higher end.
Who's saying Astrobot is a failure? If Sony's saying it's successful, who's saying it's a failure? I'm curious.
With graphical and all these capabilities of AAA.
This became a rabbit hole.
Now, going back to Square Enix, they have to fix their stuff. Whatever they're doing internally, right? Whatever they're doing. And it's not even just exclusive. Everybody's just focusing on the PlayStation exclusive because, of course, grifting is great to talk shit about PlayStation because, let's be honest, there's a lot of Xbox fanboys that are hurt and they just need to cope and they need help. But anyway, we already saw signs of Square Enix having issues long before this. Look at the expectations of Guardian of the Galaxy, the expectations of Tomb Raider, the expectations of Avengers. These are all multiplats. right? For the most part. And they just keep failing. Something internally needs to be fixed with Square Enix. They need to get their processes improved. They need to be better at game development. They need more bang for the buck. I don't know what's happening, but it's just sad that that they're in the situation that it is. If they think they're gonna resolve everything by just going day one multi-plat, it's not. Because we've seen day one multi-plats fail all the time across the board, right? The only difference is when Square Enix does goes multi-plat, no one's gonna care. It's not. Because what they really care about, the truth is, it's not really the success of Square Enix, it's just don't give PlayStation exclusives. That's it. Let's all be honest. That's all the battle is, right? Because again, if people really cared about the industry, or if people were really concerned about multiplats, external multiplats, we would have the conversations on all these multiplats that aren't doing well, but they're not. Okay? The conversation will only come up is, hey, did PlayStation find a way to get this game exclusive to their platform? Then they're going to make a hoopla. Again, they all made this hoopla about Final Fantasy 16, and in the end, only 289,000 bought it after a month. So
How did this go to like PlayStation derangement syndrome? What is he saying? Don't release on other platforms? Then they just would have gotten no extra sales. What are we talking about? That's crazy. What? Okay, dog. Holy shit, dog. I mean, hey, you really got to defend your platform. I get that. I guess that's just yeah, that's crazy. Reality is that, well, exclusives are going the way of the dinosaur. What you're saying is literally all viable information. Yes, even multiplats don't make money, some of them. That means that there's all the more reason for exclusives to not exist anymore because, well, even multiplats are not making money. Now, truly exceptional games like your Black Myth Wukongs that are actually good, word of mouth carries them, even if the gaming industry, games journalists choose to shit on the game and try to make it fail. You have your exceptional games that do extremely well. Space Marine 2, for example, did extremely well. Good games will transcend sales. Absolutely. And even a exclusive could potentially excel in that way, but you're still not going to achieve maximized profit. A lot of these AAA companies need to use their successes to subsidize a lot of their failures, just like apparently Final Fantasy 16. I think a big issue really overall is to stop. What they really need to do is just stop spending a decade making games that we don't see where all the work went to. I think that's a key thing that needs to be said. I really just don't think that Porterock brings up any good points. Even he agrees with the issues that PC gamers bring up with Final Fantasy 16. I really don't see the arguments other than, well, I agree with PC gamers, but I have to defend exclusivity on my box, so I have something to brag about. That seems to be the whole situation here, sad to say. And the reality is PC gamers just aren't stupid. They're not going to be fooled by garbage video games. They aren't going to be fooled by Square Enix and their insane marketing, because that is clearly what led to the insane first week sales of the game. And overall, you just can't fool PC gamers like that. You can't fool PC gamers like you can PlayStation gamers. And we do not want people to come over from console gaming. Please, no, stay there. However, we do want all of the video games, and the PC platform is the most complete library of video games ever created. It's not even close. PS5, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch will never, ever come close to the PC platform in terms of complete gaming libraries, past, present, and future. And that is the goal for PC gaming. We want a complete gaming library. We want to be able to pick from all the video games just like everyone else. I mean, I don't see why this is a problem. You want to stay on your platform, that's fine. You still get your games, that's fine. I want you to have All the games that PC also have, mind you, but the reality is that just isn't a thing. But any PC exclusive game that ends up, comes to PC, I would also like for it to go to your platforms because I don't want you to come to my platform. Okay, let my games go to your platform so you don't come over here. It's really that simple. And obviously everything in reverse. I scratch your back, you scratch my back, I guess, sort of deal. So I don't understand the complaints of the lack of sales on PC. Garbage game got exposed for being bad. In terms of every angle. Final Fantasy 16 just isn't a good game, and in return, PC gamers answered with not buying it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this situation in the comment section down below. Were you a PC gamer? Did you choose to buy Final Fantasy 16? And if you didn't buy Final Fantasy 16, let me know why in the comment section down below. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Mario Kart if you'd like to continue the conversation. Check me out this Thursday, 8 p.m. EST, for the Twilight Zone of Gaming live stream where we talk about all of the insanity surrounding gaming. It is a damn good time. Consider becoming a channel member. It gives you awesome emotes for the live stream. Also instant access to the Discord, just 99 cents or more if you so choose to. And yeah, guys, with all being said, I'm out. Peace.